I'm Jennifer Della Quadri, and this is Subtle Shifts, the podcast where you'll learn how to transform your life from the inside out, one small, meaningful shift at a time. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the podcast. In this episode and in the next few episodes, I'm going to be expanding on the Subtle Shifts method. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about the cocoon phase. So if you're not familiar with the method, go back to episode 156. It's short and sweet and to the point, and it really serves as a foundation for how to make big changes in your life or little changes in your life. Essentially, how to achieve the goals that you're wanting to achieve or figure them out if you don't know what those goals are. So go back to episode 156 to learn about the method and how to make changes that align with your highest good. Today, I'm going to be talking about one of life's biggest questions, one that comes up a lot with my clients, and that is, how can I be happy? The amount of time, money, and effort that is spent trying to answer this question could fuel a lifetime of discontentment. And I know from personal experience, the amount of time, money, effort that I have spent trying to figure out how to be happy in my life, I could fill an entire episode with just that. But that's not why you're here. You're probably hearing this wondering, gosh, I really do want to know how to be happy in my life. There's books on it. There's podcasts on it. There's courses. There's strategies. So much effort is put into trying to figure out how to be happy. And this is something that comes up a lot in midlife because sometimes in our earlier life, we get trapped into the fallacy of when I achieve certain goals, I'm going to be happy. When I get the job, when I lose the weight, when I have the kids, when I find the person, when I make the money, when I have the house. So let me tell you, I've done all of those things. And I still wouldn't consider myself to be, quote, happy in my life. But don't get me wrong. Yes, of course, there are moments when I'm happy. There's moments of intense joy in my life. But happiness, being happy is an elusive thing. Once you feel it, something comes over and knocks it down. The same goes for any emotion. Once you feel it, something comes around and shifts your energy. No one is happy all of the time. That would just be kind of weird, right? But maybe your goal is just to feel happy more of the time, right? Valid. You want to feel this general air of happiness as you move throughout your day, right? Of course you do. But when your goal is happiness, you're going to realize at the moment you feel something less than happy, you're going to feel like something's gone wrong. Like, oh no, I'm sad, or there's a problem that I need to fix because I need to get back to that happiness state. And that's when we start looking outward for solutions. We buy those things, the outfits. We buy things we don't need. We start looking on Amazon. I know I'm very much guilty of doing that, although not as much lately, thankfully. We get the Botox. We buy a new outfit. We go on a diet. We look externally to try to answer that question or find that fulfillment. And none of those things are going to make you happy. Let me tell you a story of my client. So one of my clients came to me because she was really unhappy with her body. She was in midlife. She'd gained weight. She was really frustrated because she didn't really feel like she was herself anymore. And she was struggling with sticking with diets, sticking with routines for exercise. She didn't know what to do. And she was wanting support in sticking with her goals. And when I was talking with her about it, instead of focusing on setting the goals and how to stay accountable, that's the how, we got to the bottom of why. Why does she want to stick with these goals? Why does she want to lose weight? And really digging in. Okay, when you lose weight, you'll fit into the jeans. What's that going to offer for you? And when we got to the bottom of it, it really boiled down to her idea of when I am thinner, I will be happy. I will be happy again. I will feel like myself again. And this is what we tell ourselves. But the truth is, no one is going to be able to give you that happiness. No thing is going to be able to give you that happiness. So happiness is not the goal. Instead of striving for that happiness, here are a few other things to consider calling into your life: satisfaction, fulfillment, purpose, harmony, gratitude, and contentment. So think about it. Those are things that you can cultivate and have even if you are feeling sad emotions. Even when you're frustrated, you can still feel satisfied with your life as a whole. You can still feel fulfilled. You can still have purpose. Your emotions are going to go up and down. That is part of being human. But when you have the foundation of gratitude, of contentment with what is, your emotions will not pull you into trying to solve with the how or solve with exterior things that are not going to give you that fulfillment. So think about it. When was the last time you felt these things? I'll tell you mine. This was actually just last week. It was the middle of the day. I'd finished my work. There was nothing more that I really needed to do to prepare for dinner. There was no laundry that needed to be done. And I just had some extra time. So I just decided to make some cookies. And there was a moment when the cookies were in the oven, they were baking. And instead of grabbing my phone, I just stood there in that moment. And I looked around. I saw my girls. They were sitting on the couch. They were watching a show together. My husband was working. My dogs were laying in their dog bed. And in that moment, I felt peace. I felt contentment and gratitude for that moment, for the things that were occurring in my life then. And I recognized it. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel really peaceful right now. I'm just going to soak this in. And I would not have had that experience if I had tried to fill that 10 minutes of baking time with something else, like going and cleaning something up or picking up my phone and scrolling. I let myself be in that moment and observe. And it rewarded me with this wonderful feeling of peace and contentment. And of course, it was a fleeting moment. It passed, but it was a moment nonetheless. And those moments really do impact your overall well-being. The more you can have them and the more you can witness them and recognize them. So what can you do to create more of those moments in your life? I'm going to share with you 5 things that you can try. The first one is to reflect. Take time every day to reflect on how things went. Specifically, direct your mind to what I like to call the glimmers, those moments where you felt peace and contentment or things went your way. And if you can't think of one, think of something that went better than you had expected. Maybe you hit a green light when you were running late for an appointment, or maybe your teenager thanked you for making dinner, or maybe you had a good workout. Try to think of at least 3 things each night before you drift off to sleep. And when this becomes a habit, what you're going to notice is that throughout the day, you'll start noticing those glimmers in the moment. Because you'll be looking for them. Your brain's going to be like, okay, well, this is part of my routine. This is something I do every night. I'm going to be on the lookout for them, and I'll notice them in the moment. So just letting that be a practice. It doesn't have to be a big, long thing. You don't have to get this gratitude journal and write an essay every day. You can, but you don't have to. You can literally just lay in bed and before you drift off or before you pick up your book or whatever it is before you fall asleep, just take maybe a minute and just lay there and reflect on your day. What went well? What are you grateful for? The reflection is what's going to offer you the evidence that things are going the way you want them to. And that's how you're going to direct your brain. Step 2 is goal setting. When you have something that you're working for that's like really important to you, that means something to you, you're going to feel more purposeful in your life. And there are a million people out there telling you what type of goals to set. There are a million people out there telling you what you should work for. But unless you have those goals that are in alignment with your values and with what's most important to you, it's not going to give you that sense of satisfaction. So first, just understand what's important to you. What do you love to do? What are your values? And have your goals be in alignment with that. Something personal growth related, something having to do with nurturing relationships or developing a career or starting a business. Finding a goal or finding a purpose or methods or things that you're going to do to move yourself closer to the things that are important to you are going to give you more of a sense of satisfaction in your life, more of a sense of purpose and fulfillment. So once you figure out the what, then you can do the goals. And that will also give you a sense of achievement as you go. It gives you something to work for. The third one is to really focus on nurturing your relationships. Those relationships that are most important to you with people who share your values, share your outlook on life, people who fill you up, whether it's family, friends, it could be a community. If you don't have anyone in your family or you don't have good friends, find community, whether it's meetups or social circles or some type of religious organization, community centers, yoga studios, where you go and you feel like these are my people. And nurture the relationships within those communities, whatever they are. This is going to provide you a sense of belonging. Like people actually care that you're around. They miss you when you're gone. They're happy when you show up. That's going to give you a sense of gratitude and fulfillment for the things that you have in your life. Number 4 is to simplify your life and pare it down to the things that really, truly matter. The big rocks. I know I've talked about Stephen Covey's Big Rocks on this podcast before. If you're not familiar, definitely go Google that. But the things that are most important, so many of us can get distracted with all of the fluff for the day, the things that are pulling us, like the fires we need to put out and things like that. Simplify to the things that are essential to you, the things that are going to fill your cup, the things that are going to help you reach your goals, the things that make you feel good about yourself and help you connect with the people that you love. And then let the other things go. And this might mean saying no. This might mean not volunteering. This might mean having boundaries on the events you attend, the things you give your energy to, and being okay with saying no and maybe potentially letting people down. Because when you are at the whim of what other people think is important, your needs are not going to be met. So talk about a lack of fulfillment. You are at the whim of other people's desires, but your desires are valid too. Yes, of course, you do have obligations in society. Perhaps you have a job that you go to. You likely are really expected to do lots of work there that maybe isn't in line with your values 100%, but it does bring in the income. So therefore, it is potentially reaching a lot of values for you. But outside of that, outside of those obligations, how do you spend your time? How do you spend your energy? And is it alignment with what truly matters to you? And the 5th one is to engage in activities that are giving to others, giving to something outside of you. When you're only focusing on yourself and your needs and your life and your challenges, you're going to get stuck in a cycle of overwhelmed self-doubt, trying to fix something. But when you shift instead to either helping someone else or volunteering or just making someone else's day a little bit brighter, you're going to shift your energy into this helper mode. And it's going to give you satisfaction of having a purpose outside of just my everyday life. So giving back, volunteering, just being a listening ear for a friend, sending a kind text to someone you care about, or calling somebody and having an actual conversation. That brings it back to the connection. But letting your focus be on something or someone outside of you and improving the quality of whatever that is. I know I've told you over and over and over on this podcast that I volunteer at a dog shelter. I don't do it for money. I do it because I love being able to help the animals. I love being able to give my time and energy to the betterment of the facility and for obviously the animals. It feels good to me, and it's a highlight of my week. So find that thing outside of yourself that's going to fill your cup. So those are the 5 things you can implement. And as always, I recommend pick one. Don't feel like you have to do all 5 right now. Just pick one. Which one stands out to you? Hey, I can do that. And start doing that. And do it again the next day. These are the subtle shifts that you're going to do. You pick one thing, you decide to do it, you follow through with it, you evaluate, and then eventually you look back and you're like, oh, this is just part of my life now. And things feel vastly different. And surprise, surprise, you have a little more joy and contentment in your life. And if you have been feeling like you're ready for more, if you're wanting more satisfaction, more purpose, more harmony, I would love to help you get there. I offer one-on-one coaching that's really designed to support you in making these shifts. And on a free consultation call, we're going to talk about where you're feeling stuck and how coaching can help you create these changes that you really want to see in your life. So if you're ready to explore working together and what that would look like, head to the link in the show notes to book your consultation. Let's talk about how you can start aligning with your highest good and living the fulfilling life you deserve today. I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining me. If you're ready to take the next step in transforming your life, be sure to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. And if something resonated with you today, I'd love to hear about it. Share your thoughts, tag me on social media, or leave a review to help others find the podcast. Remember, the smallest shifts can create the biggest transformations. I look forward to hearing from you.